Hey, my name is Lecrae, and Brittney Brown has access.
I have the honor and the privilege of sitting here with Lecrae, Grammy Award winning artist, selling 88,000 records only in his first week, out of control, on fire for Christ, man of God, husband. Let's add that since marriage seems to be a non-factor today. Lecrae, it is a pleasure to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank y'all for having me.
So I want to talk about some stuff that we can't necessarily put on air.
Okay.
I want to talk about a little bit about your walk. What made you answer the call?
I think there comes a time where you realize that life is not like you were made with purpose and value, and life is not centered around you, but centered around you serving a greater purpose. And I just had to come to a place where I said, you know, what do I want my life to be about? Do I want it to be about me, or do I want it to be about something far greater than myself? And that for me was the, you know, that was it. It was kind of like, it's time to stop living down here and live to be who I was created to be.
Lecrae, we just did an interview and we were talking about how you're infiltrating the system, both the gospel arena and also the secular arena. You're #1 in both arenas right now. It's unbelievable. God is definitely moving in your life. My question is, how do you do that without selling out, without compromising your faith?
You know, I think there's always going to be pushback, and you're never going to fully be embraced by a world system. So you kind of walk into it knowing that. You don't walk in there saying, no, they're going to love me eventually. They're not, you know, not fully. But they will appreciate the truth and the love and the care and the concern that you give. And so at the end of the day, I would rather people reject the gospel but not reject you know, me for being obnoxious or arrogant or pious. And so I just try to love people and meet them where they are. I don't try to bash them or condemn them. I try to point them to you know, a place of hope and grace and love. And so, you know, I think the walk is, you know, you have to be grounded. You have to keep on the full armor of God so that you're not like compromising your views. And you know, I mean, because Satan is crafty, and so you want to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and what you're dealing with.
As a husband, Lecrae, you're married, obviously, beautiful family, beautiful kids. I see your posts on Instagram with your baby, especially your son. He's my favorite. What words of advice would you give to young black men, especially, who are honestly, I feel, living in modern day polygamy, who think it's cool to exploit women, who think it's cool to have as many chicks as possible? You are a man, you're married, dedicated to one woman. What words of advice would you give to our generation, our male generation?
I think there's a void. A lot of men do not know don't know what it means to be a man. So the problem is they're just acting out you can only be what you've seen, you can only become what you've beheld. And they have not seen a picture of biblical masculinity, so they don't know what it means to be a man. Being a man, to them, is having as many women as possible, being tough, not showing your emotions, and it's all really foolish stuff. When the ultimate man is Jesus, and I think people think of Jesus as this kind of flimsy little, you know, oh, flowing hair, playing with the lambs, but that's not. This is the same Jesus that's coming back in Revelation, dressed in all white, coming to fight, you know, with Lord of Lords, King of Kings tatted on his thigh. He's a man, and Jesus is. He accepts responsibility. He rejects passivity. He embraces, you know, he's selfless, and he is committed to his woman, the church, to the point to where he died for her. And I think that's what guys need to understand, what a man is. Adam was not a good picture of a man, because Adam, when he got caught, first of all, he let his wife go out and eat the fruit he knew he was the one who was told no, and he didn't stop her. She ate it, and when God said, hey, what happened? He said he blames her. He didn't take responsibility. And So that's a picture of what we're not supposed to be. But Jesus, he didn't do anything wrong, but he still accepts the responsibility. He says, you know what? I'm responsible for her. I'll take it. I'll take the fall. He's selfless. He's sacrificial, and he accepts responsibility. And that's what men need to do. And until men learn what it means to be a man, they'll always continue to act like boys. And a man is going to commit. A man is going to say, listen, I'm disciplined enough to commit to one woman and fight the natural temptation. It's a reality, but you discipline yourself, and you discipline, you buffet your body, as Paul says, and you hold her down.
What is your take on why it's so taboo almost to talk about Jesus, but yet we're bombarded with things everything that's contradictory to him?
Well, what I would say is that Christianity has become synonymous with immorality for a lot of people, because Christianity means you're an intolerant, judgmental person who is heartless and cold and could care less about what's going on inside of me. And the fact that I, wake up every day wrestling with, my desires and my needs and my struggles and my fears, and all you have are these trite answers that tell me to get it together. And I think that's part of the problem, is that we're depicted as these people who are always trying to give answers and not loving people and not asking great questions that make people wrestle with, man. Jesus asked a lot of questions. When people came at him and said, well, Jesus, what about this? He would say, well, let me ask you a question. You know what I mean? When the Pharisees were, about to stone a young woman, hey, he who's about to sin, cast the first stone. It's just, and what I believe is that people, obviously the gospel is going to be an offense. Paul says the gospel is an offense. So there's an offensiveness to it because it messes with people's conscience. They realize, man, I don't like, the way this is jarring with my conscience. But then some Christians are just offensive and have given a lot of us, it's become a struggle for us to talk about Jesus in the public square, because as soon as we say Jesus, they think we mean we hate you and you're going to hell and get out of here and stay away from my kids. You know what I mean? And I think until we can demonstrate that we're not just a bunch of intolerant bigots, but we are concerned for people, and we're not just trying to get you to get your life together. We're trying to get you to fall in love with Jesus and let him change your life. And until that happens, I think it's going to consistently be a struggle. And I don't know if that will ever happen.
I can't see you doing anything else. It's like listening to a pastor right now or some just, motivational speaker. I cannot see you doing anything else, Lecrae, than what you're doing. If you weren't doing this, what would you do? I can't see you, at my grocery store or at Macy's or something like that. What would you be doing if it wasn't this?
I don't know. I'd be wasting my life. I don't know. I'd probably be wasting my life. But, my whole thing is just being a voice. And whether I'm on a microphone or in a community center or wherever that is, I want to be a voice.